What's going on, everybody? It's Elijah Lott with the LTSPOD, and I'm very excited to bring you my 5th installment of my long-form interview content. And today we have a very special guest, FAMU football captain, and in my personal opinion, FAMU legend, NayRon Jenkins, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So my first question, man, tell me about your upbringing in football. Just what made you fall in love with the game? When did you realize that you was in love with the game? Just tell me about that.
So actually, I grew up playing basketball, football, a little bit of baseball, like most kids in America, you grew up playing all these sports. Actually, growing up, my favorite sport was basketball. I played basketball, and up until my freshman year of high school, I thought I was going to be a college basketball player.
That's crazy.
But one of the advisors here was actually my high school football coach. And one day he called me in his office and was like, hey, he's like, get in my office, get in my chair. So I was like, all right. I sat in the chair, and he's like, Google what's the average height of a football player. I was like, all right, now Google what's the average height of a basketball player. And then he was like, you see that? You're a football player. Get it in your head. And so then from then on, I kind of locked in the football, and started really pursuing football. And I still play basketball. I still play basketball to this day. But I knew that I was able to pay for my schooling and be able to ball out, and had a very higher ceiling, if you will, at football. So I loved it. I love competing in general. If we play a board game, I still want to win. Yeah. So I think that was easy for me to transition from all my focus on basketball to football.
So I seen you hoop before, and you solid. I think I hooped against you.
Yeah.
And you solid. You solid. I'm not gonna. I'll put it the right way. You're not easy to guard, but you got a handle.
Yeah.
But you so big, man. You trying to do stuff. You trying to do stuff that you could do in high school.
Yeah, no, I didn't gain too much weight now to play basketball. I can't even dunk no more. I say, oh no.
Oh, so you used to be able to dunk?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was it when I was like 185, 190. Now I'm 220. Hey, this big Chevy can't get up like he used to.
This big Chevy. You think you? So boom. So that's a hard question. You think you done playing, man?
I think so. I honestly think so. I'm a realist. At the end of the day, and I think that I didn't put up the numbers that I needed to do what I did last season. Last season, put up some great numbers. And if I would have even got close to those numbers, or even excel those numbers, I think I would have had a chance. To maybe play Canadian or NFL. Or anything like that. But this year, wasn't my most successful season. But it's all right. I'm also understanding that there's life after football. And so that's what I'm doing now, navigating I want to stay around the game, just not playing, So I definitely want to go into coaching, and eventually I want to be athletic director, college athletic director. So, yeah.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. So let me ask you, so that's the end goal, right? What do you think are the steps that are needed in something that you are excited about doing in between to get there?
I think the biggest thing for me now is, applying for grad assistant jobs. I think I did a pretty good job of making a good network while I was playing football. I've been in a lot of different places, been in a lot of different conferences and stuff, getting sent off by the SWAG and HBCU sports and all kind of stuff like that to different places. And so I feel like I talked to a lot of conference commissioners, like I talked to a lot of different coaches at different schools. And so I'm just kind of hitting them up, grad assistant jobs. Or also I've been hitting up a couple of NFL teams to see if I can get a scouting job, just using my network. I think I did a pretty good job of that from coming out, from coming from freshman year on up. And so I think that I definitely tell athletes all the time is, hey, you're a football player, but you also need to use your network and use your opportunities that football, gives you.
Right.
I had opportunities that football. Without football, I wouldn't have never went to Argentina.
Yeah.
I went to Argentina to do a mission trip. I would have never got a chance to go to Argentina, if it wasn't for football. But you got to take advantage of those opportunities instead of just standing telling you playing football and that's it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I really appreciate the insight that you have with that, because I think a lot of people see an initial blessing as just, this is what this is. I'm grateful to be able to play college football. I'm grateful to be able to do whatever it is that you're doing in life. And they see that, and they almost forget the forest for the tree. Like they stare at that tree. But so it's really cool to hear you say, hey, I was able to do this, and I was able to do it at a high level, but I was able to also use that to my advantage and see past what I'm doing right now. So good luck to you in those endeavors, man. Speaking of, man, did you took your capstone yet?
Yes. So I
Okay.
took my capstone on what? It was the week 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
2 weeks ago now. It was right before the classic. And I was nervous. I was like, if I don't pass, I know I'm going to have a bad game because it's going to be all on my mind. But I did pass capstone.
That's what's up.
So, it definitely, for all the J School students out there, it was not as hard as people make it seem. Just be yourself and be confident in what you're selling. You're selling yourself, and you want to market yourself that way. And so I think that was great. I was really, really nervous. But definitely shout out to Dr. McGee. She was like, we couldn't even tell you were nervous. And I was like, wow. I was like, okay. I was like, because my stomach was turning. I was like, but, I really enjoyed it. I honestly, I love J School. And so I recommend J School to anybody.
Me too, man. Me too. Listen, we ain't got no reason to lie to you. J School is where it's at, especially in terms of anywhere that you want to go in terms of media, man. If you can get the FAMU, you should, man. You should. Well, actually, we doing a little bit of jargon. We're not supposed to do that. We got to tell people what capstone is. What is capstone? Especially as somebody who hasn't been in there, I hear about it, and I hear people, oh, it's so nerve-wracking. They in there watching you, this, and the third. Tell the people what capstone is.
So basically, capstone is a presentation of pretty much your work that you've done in your 4 years as a journalism student. So, you have your resume, you have your cover letter, you have, what else? Oh, you have your creative works. So creative works are basically any media content, anything that you've done as a student. And then your last section is the 10 published articles. They want to make sure that you were able to get articles published as a student, making sure that you write well, and that you have that experience for when you get out into the workforce. And so I think the hardest thing for me personally was I waited till the last minute to get my 10 articles. I didn't, I had written articles, but I guess I had misheard from somebody about the articles or something. And I was like, oh, snap. But I ended up getting it because I'm a staff writer at the FAMU, and so I ended up getting them.
That's low-key free.
Yeah, and that's what I was like, all right, bet. I think I'll be pretty good. And then also, the biggest thing is the questions, the media law and media ethics questions. Those questions they give them to you before you even go in there. So you get to rehearse your answers, before they ask you one media, one law, one ethics question. And so, you just have to use cases and use, the right words for those. Like they want to hear words like actual malice, those type of words. Because if you go all around without saying those words, they're going to say that you're not confident in it.
And you probably don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And so, they just making sure that you go in there confident and make sure that you rehearse those questions. Because people really think it's all about the website, which it is. Website is the nice part, but also I've definitely heard of people not passing because of the questions part.
Nah, I'm sure that's good content for anybody else that want to watch and is interested in J School, but I'm just trying to get free game, bro. It's going to be about that time, about 1.5 years, and boy,
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Go just like you're doing right now, and you'll be totally fine.
All right, bro. I appreciate that, man. Let's switch back to football real quick, just for a little bit. Before you got to FAMU, right? You're at Buchholz. You're in Gainesville, right? Obviously, have a solid enough career there to where you get recruited by multiple schools. Tell me about the recruitment process and what made you choose FAMU.
It's funny that you say recruiting process. I didn't really have one. I had one offer out of high school to Allen University.
Okay.
And it was in Columbia, South Carolina. And it was a really small school, really small. I think 800 students at the whole school. And so, I'm coming from Buchholz High School, who has dang near 3,000 kids.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is my middle school.
Yeah.
But I was thankful for the opportunity, so I went up there, visited. And they also didn't have a journalism program. And so I was like, the coaches was like, you can major in English. I was like, no, that's not journalism.
It's
different.
So far from journalism.
And so but then I decided not to go there. I was just kind of praying, well, all right, I think this might be it. And so, honestly, I was preparing for life after football starting then. I was like, all right, let's go apply for some schools. Let's go, see where, I'd already applied for a lot of schools. But I was like, all right, let's go see other programs, whatever. And it was a Sunday, and I was at like a little birthday dinner at Longhorn in Gainesville. Matter of fact, I remember like it was yesterday. And I got a call from Coach Smitty. He was the old defensive coordinator on the championship team. And he called me, and he's like, hey, NayRon, this is, he got Southern dialect. He's like, hey, NayRon, this is Coach Ryan Smith from FAMU. It's like, we don't have any scholarship money for you at the moment, but we would love for you to walk on. And so, when I heard that, my eyes, I was like, woo, okay, bet.
Yeah.
And so, I was thinking, like, at first I was like, dang, like, I ain't getting no opportunities, like, especially in the state of Florida. Like, I was all state, first team, like, all the little accolades in the state. I'm like, dang, like, nobody want to take a chance on me. Like, I know I'm a little undersized, but, and so, when I heard that, I was really grateful for the opportunity. But, I also still had to go talk to my parents. I still had to pray about it, all those things. And then for me to get into FAMU, that was a whole nother deal. Was like, your ACT score, you need to go at 1 point. I was like, dog.
I had that same score. Don't even worry about it. Don't even listen.
I was like, come on. I was like, 1 point? So then what they made me do is they made me come in ASB. So Access Summer Bridge Program. Mm-hmm. And so I was in ASB, and, the rest is history. I enjoyed the process. Definitely everything happened for a reason, But I think the walk-on, thing definitely taught me a lot. Like, it taught me, how sometimes you're going to come in as the lowest man on the totem pole. My freshman year, I came in the fall camp as the last name on the list.
Crazy.
Like, the last name on the list. Like, when I saw the roster of the fall camp, like, I was the very bottom. And so I was like, oh. All right, but somebody like me, like I like that type of stuff. Like I've been the underdog my whole life, so I feel like bet.
That's a challenge.
Yeah, I like bet. Let me show y'all something real quick. That's how I feel. And I feel like everybody should attack life that way. Mm-hmm. You can either have a victim mindset or you can have like, all right, bet. Like I'm gonna show you.
Absolutely.
And so I try not to have a victim mindset. Going into anything. Because I'm like, hey, nobody owes me anything. One of the things, they used to trademark it is Malachi Tony, Gabos, game ain't based on sympathy. And that's real.
For real.
That's real. Nobody has to be sympathetic for you. You just got to go out there and get it because at the end of the day, everybody trying to eat just like you are.
So, boom, going from where you are now, right, Celebration Bowl champion, I went and looked at the all-time stats. You're not that far from being up there in the leaderboards and all-time tackles, right? Looking at where you are and what you've been able to accomplish and seeing where you started off as quite literally the last name on the depth chart, what do you think took you from there to there? What was one thing, if you had to put your finger on one thing, got you through there?
I would say faith. Definitely, I'm a big faith guy.
Absolutely.
And so, prayer, Coach Smitty, he recruited me, but my freshman year, he was really hard on me, and I love that guy. To this day, I always talk to him. But, my freshman year in fall camp, I got in there, and I think I didn't run to the ball or something. And so he was like, everybody told me all these things about you in high school, and this not the guy that I'm seeing right now. That hurt me. Like,
yeah.
And, that showed like a little passion of mine, because I went home like that. I went to my dorm that night and I was crying. Like, I was like, all right, bet. Like everybody done stuck their neck out for me. Like, I feel like I let everybody down, in that aspect. And so I was like, all right, bet. And so, ain't no coach ever had to tell me to run to the ball ever since then. I felt like I was giving, my all in that instant. I might have been a little tired. Like, we had them ran back-to-back plays. Yeah. But I'm like, all right, bet. Like, all right, I'm going to push myself to the limit so far that it's like, you can't tell me that I'm not running to the ball. You can't tell me that.
Not for
and
sure.
So, that's something that I feel like that built me, in faith, and I called my parents, that crying that night. And, they were like, hey, God got you here. He going to get you through this. And, they was like, hey, you the freshman. You going to get picked at. And so that's what happened. Like, literally, like, that was I feel like at times I was like, dang, I'm doing the same thing these older guys doing. But it was just building. I feel like I feel like that's great. You know, I feel like that's just character building in general. You know, to build, build someone from a freshman, you know, to get their confidence there. You know, because as well as they were hard on me, but they also helped build my confidence. You know, playing on as a freshman on special teams and all these things, you know, it definitely built my confidence. I'm like, this college ball. Like I never forget my first ever play in college was against Jackson State. That was in 22. I got hit so hard on kickoff return. I was like, oh my God.
That was your welcome to college.
Yeah. I was like, woo.
Yeah, walk me through that play.
So it's the fourth quarter. Like y'all know how that game went. We were losing by a lot. I think it's like 59.
So Deion's there at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, you know, honestly, I wasn't expecting to get in the game.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, okay, you know, like I'm cheering my team on. You know, honestly, I don't even think I have my helmet on. Like I'm just out there with my pads on. You know, I'm just chilling. Like, let's go, y'all boys. Like, come on. Like, don't give up. And so we're going on kickoff return, and one of the guys was upset about something, or he didn't go on the field, and they were missing somebody or something. And Coach Chili Davis was our special teams coordinator. Now he's at Maryland, but he was like, I need somebody. So you know me, I'm like, bet, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm ready. He was like, all right. And he told me to block whoever. I was like, bet. So I'm running down there. The thing about it was the dude that hit me wasn't even the guy that I was supposed to be blocking.
On special teams, it's never that way. It's never that way. Because you looking at the guy that you're supposed to hit. I'm looking at you from the beginning of the play. And then out of nowhere,
boom. I was talking about, he hit me so hard I went to crawling on the field. I was like, oh, snap. But yeah, so, you know, like that was definitely, you know, like, all right, bet. And so, you know, like I said at the beginning, like when something happened like that, like I'm not the type of person I'm going to get mad. Like, when you hit me like that, I'm going to be like, number 42?
Yep, got it.
Bet. Like, bet. And so, you know, I feel like that was carrying the building, you know, and then going through the rest of the season and starting on, you know, pretty much every phase of special teams, you know, and that was definitely gave me my confidence of making plays, you know, and being able to honestly dominate, you know, me and Lamar Clark, we were two big special teams guys, you know, that freshman year. And Coach Simmons definitely, you know, spoke highly of us, and he would, you know, made me feel real good, you know, to hear him talking about me in a press conference, you know, a little freshman that I just run down on kickoff. You know, I didn't think that was that big of a deal, you know, but, you know, that really built my confidence, and it definitely helped, you know, build my respect, you know, with the older guys. Because, you know, a lot of the older guys, you know, they see freshmen come in, you know, they tease them, you know, they troll them. But then, you know, when they saw me, it was like, they still tease me. Don't get it wrong. It's still that senior freshman, you know, dealing with each other that, you know, they still tease and have, you know, we all have fun. But, you know, I feel like they respected me, and like I have a great relationship with a lot of those guys, like Zaylin and Zay Smith, you know, to this day, you know, guys who are definitely doing great things in the league.
For sure. So I'm glad you brought up Coach Simmons, right? Because something that I really noticed about him was, like you said, that attention to detail in all three phases of the game meant so much to him, right? So to you, it was a big deal that he was mentioning a freshman in special teams, but especially the way that he thought, especially like from my perspective, watching him coach, that it had to be referenced because it mattered so much to him, right? So with him winning the Celebration Bowl, right? Tell me about those times. Tell me about that culture that you went into, working your way up through the depth chart, and most importantly with this question, what did you learn from him that took you to the heights that y'all got to?
I think that the biggest thing on that team was we knew we were gonna win. Like I think that there was no doubt in anybody's mind, like from fall camp on, like we really should have beat USF. But like when we came in, into camp, fall camp in 23, like we all knew without a shot of a doubt, like there ain't nobody on this schedule that can stop us.
And what went into that confidence?
We saw the players, like we saw what we did to each other in practice, like the players, like going offense back and forth, defense back and forth, like we just saw it, like and you know I wasn't like you said, an offensive, defensive player, you know, I was just strictly special team. But I saw it. Like, I called my parents on the daily. I was like, USF better watch out. And they supposed to be the FBS team on the schedule. Like we really like that.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that, and that was the thing. Like, you know, going to Celebration Bowl, like, you know, we came in there and we were losing at halftime. Coach Simmons' speech was so calm during halftime. Like, most coaches kind of get in there, like, y'all gotta. Coach Simmons got in there. He said, hey, we know we're gonna win this game. So tighten up, get your head out your behind, and let's play rally football. We know we're gonna win the game. We got 30 more minutes to show why we're gonna win the game. Now let's go. And he just walked out.
Shout out.
And so, you know, that's the confidence that he had and that he instilled in us. And so therefore that had us, we had a peace. Like, you know, the head man believing us like that. It's like, all right, you bet. Like, we know we about to go out here and win. And so, you know, that was just a really cool experience. You know, definitely grateful for that experience. You know, it's definitely the greatest experience probably of my lifetime. Like, honestly, like all the confetti, you know, all the media, you know, all the rings, you know, I think that's just definitely like a dream come true for me for sure. Especially playing at Mercedes-Benz also. That was really cool. That was weirdly cool. Like, you walk in and you playing in air conditioning. Never had that happen before. I was like, look, I feel the AC blowing. Like they're a football game.
Yeah. It's the little stuff like that you don't notice. And I'm glad you brought it up because that was going to be one of my next questions. What was the experience like playing in the Celebration Bowl? That's probably the biggest stage you'd ever played on at that point, right? And was there a pressure? Was there, like, obviously there's expectation going into the game, but just what stood out the most to you about that stage?
First of all, I'm glad we came the day before. So we actually went there on Friday to kind of do a walkthrough. And we all got our little, dang, this Mercedes-Benz out of the way. Like, because I feel like we'd have came there on Saturday, and it's still be like, dang. So, like, we literally stayed there for 2 hours, just everybody just kind of walking around the field. And, like, I ain't gonna lie, I still got videos to this day of, like, dang, this Mercedes-Benz. Like, I'm sending pictures to my mama and my daddy. Like, I'm really here. But then, you know, once we settled down, you know, we realized that, hey, all right, it's Saturday now. Like, hey, forget where we at. We can play them. We can play them in the backyard. It don't matter. Like, they got to get it. And so that was the mentality. You know, we came out slow, but we finished hard, and we ultimately, you know, got the win. And so I think that experience was, like I say, it was like no other. Like, you know, you get to play in one of the nicest stadiums in the country. You get to play for a national championship. You know, these are all things that most people in their lifetime, even most football players or collegiate football players, don't get to play in Mercedes-Benz. And so I think that, you know, I'm just blessed with the opportunity.
For sure, man, for sure. So, I mean, that's a blessing within itself, right? FAMU being as historic of an entity as it is, and being a part of one of the crown jewels of the program, man, that's a blessing. And a lot of that credit has to go to Coach Simmons. So shortly after that, he makes a transition to Duke, right? Tell me about what that transition was like from your perspective, and what was the feeling like as a team?
You know, we kind of figured it. The year before that, his name was in some USF talks, USF coaching talks or whatever. And we kind of figured, you know, like, success, people going to want to go up.
Yeah.
And so as a team, we were definitely not upset with him. Like, you know, after we won the Celebration Bowl, I think it was Christmas Eve, I want to say. He sent out a Zoom link and told everybody to join. We all joined it, and he was like, hey, just letting y'all know it's a possibility. I just got a job offer to do. Not sure if I'm going to take it yet, but I always want to keep y'all in the loop. Boom. Then I think New Year's Day, we got on. He sent another Zoom link and got on and told us that he was gone, you know. And, I mean, a lot of the players was like, dang, if he going, I'm into the portal. You know, and honestly, some of them did, you know. But then others, we were like, all right, bet. Like, hey, it's all right. We gotta rally the troops. And, you know, we had a lot of decommits that year, you know, that decommitted and wanted to follow him. We had some that came for a week and then left, you know. And so, you know, a lot of them were coming for him. And so, you know, with a great coach like that, you know, people are going to want to play for him. But I think what went into that was he deserved that. Like, he's a great coach, great person, you know, X's and O's, you know, ain't nobody better, you know. And so I think he deserved that. And like you see the success that he's having right now, even after Duke and now at FIU, It's just that you see that his culture is winning.
Yeah.
Like point blank period. Like, and as I saw the nickname that they put on there was Winning Willie. You know, and that's just real. Like I think they said what it was like 10 straight seasons of like winning records. Like no season under 500. Like that's crazy.
Like Mike Tomlin.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's crazy to think about like how hard it is. People don't understand how hard it is to win one college football game. So imagine how hard it is to win. What they play 12 games, so 6.
Yeah.
At least 6 in every game.
Consistently. I mean that's a testament to that greatness, man. And I want to bounce around just a little bit. Since we're talking about coaches moving, what's your opinion on the Lane Kiffin situation, man? Who would you say is to blame there? Is there anybody to blame? Whose fault is it? Is there anybody in the wrong? And more importantly, what's your opinion on it?
So from what I heard what I'm seeing from the players,
yeah,
that he lied in his statement about the players disagreed that they wanted me to coach. They wanted me to coach the rest of the season, but the administration didn't agree. And then the players retweeted. I was like, none of the players said this.
Yeah, as a player, why would I not want the guy that got me to the college football playoffs to coach me through?
Well, no, but that's what he was saying. But the players said they didn't want him to. They said if he was going to jump ship, they said let him jump ship.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that's what they were saying. And so, you know, I feel like he lied on that aspect, at least from the players' perspective. And then some of them were like, that was not how the meeting went, but okay. And so, you know, that like I feel like there's nobody to blame because obviously, you know, at the end of the day, it's a business. And so, businessman going to go for the most money.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure that new contract made him the highest paid coach in college football.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't blame him. And I knew that LSU was going to speed it up. Like, I knew they weren't going to let him go all the way to January for the championship without making a decision. Like, that's what I told him. Somebody was like, I think he's going to coach in the college football playoffs, and then they're going to tell him. I'm like, they're not going to let him wait that long.
Yeah.
And so LSU told him that he had Ole Miss told him he had until after the Egg Bowl. And after the Egg Bowl, that's when he had to make a decision. That was the other day. And so, you know, I don't think there's anyone wrong in this situation. I think that LSU is doing what they want. And they like, again, Lane Kiffin is somebody who turns programs around, too.
Yeah.
Like, look what he did at FAU. Like, people forget that he was at FAU and made them relevant. Like, you know, that I feel like that he's earned it. Like, he's earned every pressure, every opportunity that he gets, honestly.
So I personally think they have at least one national championship coming their way in the next 3 years. You see the recruits that's coming in and out of there, the NFL level talent that they putting out year after year, and you got a program changer like Lane Kiffin coming in the way that he did, and he probably bringing some Ole Miss guys with him. It's gonna get scary out that way.
And that's the part that I may not agree with.
Okay, talk to me.
I don't think poaching players during the season is a good look.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you're gonna take a player from the school that you left, and they have a possibility, you know, of making the playoffs or whatever, I'm not gonna poach them.
Now the other perspective of that is I recruited this guy. He's like a family member to me. Where I'm going, he going. It could be the beginning of the season. I don't care.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I understand it's a business. I just feel like, you know, this is a program that he still built that program regardless.
Yeah.
And it's a program that he honestly still cares about. Because if he didn't care about it, it wouldn't have took him so long to make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like his name been in that talk for months now.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just think that for him to get these players into the portal from Ole Miss already and committing already, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy.
Not even kind of. It's a little nasty.
And I mean that shows the nastiness of the business, but I just don't think I agree with it.
So I was going to ask this question a little bit later, but it's the segue too perfect. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, especially from the perspective of an athlete, the player empowerment movement that's happening in college sports with NIL, with the transfer portal being made as convenient as it is now with the little loopholes and stuff like that. Tell me from your perspective, what is your outlook on it, and where do you see it going in the future?
My honest opinion is I don't like the transfer portal at all.
I mean, you're a 4-year guy, so
yeah, I think that the transfer portal gives guys an opportunity to escape from accountability. So when you look at players that transfer, it's like, all right, I done got in trouble so many times over here. This coach ain't playing me. Dang, let me hit portal, and I can act like he was the problem. Oh, dang, I ain't playing over here. I feel like these boys ain't better than me. Da, 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 da. Let me hit the portal. Oh, and I feel like it's no hard work no more. You know, the working like for instance, like I'm not tooting my own horn, but you know, working from the bottom to the top. You know, because that's something that I feel like this transfer portal is not helping athletes in life.
Yeah.
You know, because in life, everything ain't gonna be given to you.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to just move out of every situation. Yeah,
you're gonna end up jumping from job to job. Then, like, oh, this boss said this to me. Let me get in the portal. Like, you gonna get in the job portal? Like, you know. And so I think that's the problem that I have with it. And then with NIL, I think paying players without performance is the problem. So like, you get this player, like for instance, DJ Ukulele from Florida State last year.
Yeah.
They paid him like $4 million in NIL.
Just do me a favor and look at the camera real quick. The audience, do you think DJU deserved $4 million for his performance?
But then, you know, like their season went the way it went.
Yeah.
And then you have to pay this guy still his $4 million.
Yeah.
Even though he really didn't perform to the level that you thought he was going to perform.
And when did he show you that he earned that? At any of his stops before it? So,
you know, and that's the problem. And that's the problem that I see is that people just give it based off of a name. Like, I feel like what made DJ Ukulele go viral or whatnot was his dad. His dad kind of pushed that out there. You know, what you like, LeVar Ball, you know, those type of parents.
Yeah.
You know, when you looking at them all the time, you can't help but look at their child and think like,
okay, this kid must be worth something. And then you go looking at 5-star and this, that, and the third. And so some people gonna jump at that.
And I mean, honestly, DJ Ukulele has all the measurables. Like,
oh, for sure.
Like, no doubt.
On paper, like, he's the guy.
6'4", 240, like,
not slow.
Yeah.
He could make reads at one point.
Yeah. And so, you know, that
not bad arm. Like, it was there.
Yeah. And so that's what I think. You know, I that's why I think about the transfer portal NIL. I think that, you know, it's a great opportunity. I definitely want to see it get kind of evened out because I think it slights some schools. I feel like it's not even.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a school like FSU has a lot more graduates than a school like FAMU.
Right.
You know, and so therefore, the graduates and alumni, you know, they're gonna be able to give a little more because they have way more alumni. Versus FAMU, we have a lot of alumni, but we don't have nearly as many as FSU because we don't have the same amount of population or capacity as a school.
Right.
And so therefore, we're not gonna have the same amount of funds.
Yeah, and it's just kind of not how the game go, but at this point, that's how the game go. And so I think the transfer portal was a really nice idea, and I think that it was needed. There was a need for it, but I think it's become abused to the point now where, like you said, it's almost a scapegoat, right? Like my prime example is Cormani McLean. You getting in trouble, being held accountable. You're not showing up to meetings, this, that, and the third. All right, Deion leaving. I'm going to Florida. And you see where he at. He's not really getting burned like that over there. And then
I think he's starting now.
Or at least from when I remember when he first transferred.
Yeah, he wasn't playing at first because I think he came over there and doing the same
same thing. Yeah. So now you didn't have to learn your lesson. Right. You just
that's
the situation.
That's one thing that I say too. Is like, all right, this your second or third stop and you still hollering the same thing. Old coaches don't like me.
Yeah.
So then that's when, as a man, you gotta look at who, the man in the mirror.
For real.
You got to. And so I think that's what the transfer portal doesn't do. Like, I'm sorry, but it's a character flaw if you've been to 4 different schools and saying the same thing. Like, it's a flaw in you. Like, honestly,
you've been to 4 different places and it's not somebody else. It's not home. I didn't feel at home here.
It's all somebody else's fault. Like all 4 schools, somebody else's fault. Like, come on, bro. And so that's what I don't like about transfer portal. It's like you'll get somebody like that. It's like, I've been here, I didn't play. I'm gonna go here. Oh, I played a little bit. They just wanted me to play special teams. I left. Oh, I went here. I played receiver, but I ain't get as many touches as I want. Let me go here.
I'm getting the touches with the team bad. I got the COVID year. I'm trying to.
And so I'm like, bro, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with it. It's like it's not teaching these. It's setting the athletes up for failure in life. Cause when you have a disagreement with somebody at work, or y'all just not on the same page, you can't just up and leave.
Yeah, you
like,
gotta figure it out.
Like, you at least gotta give them 2 weeks. Some of you put into the floor in a day.
Soon as the season,
like we had some boys that they get into an argument and they'll be in the portal by the evening, by the afternoon they in the portal. Like real life, and I'm like, how? like how? Why so fast? Like you didn't even give God a chance. You ain't pray about it. Like you ain't nothing. You just I had a disagreement. I'm getting in the portal.
Me and God will talk about it later.
Yeah, like what?
So, boo, obviously, that you're not cut from that cloth. You're a little too loyal to the soil, or at least not too loyal to the soil, but you're too loyal to the soil to do that, right? So, you got another 2 years here. We get announced that Coach Cozy's coming, and from the championship heights that we were at.
Yeah, we had a fall.
Yeah, okay.
The empire it fell.
You said the empire fell.
It did.
I'm glad you said it. Glad you said it. Now, obviously, with social media being as big as it is and as powerful as it is, a lot of people have opinions and voices that they feel matter when they don't know to have, right? And so, obviously, me playing football, me loving football, I feel like I have a bit more of a, I don't want to say insight. I feel like I understand a little bit more, but I'll never understand as much as a guy like you who has been in it and kind of just knows what happens on the inside. And without sharing too much, kind of tell me, what do you think was the catalyst for the fall?
I think the biggest catalyst for the fall was we didn't have many players who carried over. Like we didn't have much of a carryover from that championship team. So when you have a championship team and you go from a championship team to a brand new team, the culture shifts. So a lot of the remaining guys, were fighting with the guys that just got on here to try to get them to the culture that we know how it's supposed to look, and that's also something with the transfer portal. It's like you got to get guys to buy in every year. Like you gotta teach different guys the culture of your program every year, and so I think that that was a struggle for us. Definitely, getting some players to buy into the championship culture, that we have, and the culture that was created way before us. Like this championship culture goes all the way back to Jake Gaither.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the biggest catalyst of the fall, was I think, but when you look at also anything, I think that there's multiple things. And so I think that, number one was players. Like we didn't execute some of the things, that we should have executed. We missed some plays, left some plays out there. Coaches could have put us in some better positions, but I think that definitely, when you have a losing season or you have a season that's not quite the best, everybody has to look in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a firm believer in that. And so, like I say, it ain't no one person. I know you see all the social media and the comments and all that, blaming this one person, but at the same time, coaches don't play. And I think that I'm a firm believer in, players make the plays. And so I think that we left some plays out there a lot as well.
For sure. I like that response. I'm glad that you was able to get a little bit into the nitty gritty, but you still got some media training in there. You still,
yeah.
You talking about So let me ask you, man. From when you first started playing the game, you brought up earlier how you got yelled at for not following the ball, and from then on, my general rule of thumb when watching games, trying to find you, except for the last couple games, because you had
had the space helmet on.
Hey, I remember I was watching the game. My mama was like, they couldn't have spray painted it.
That's what everybody's like. They're like, they don't have the same ones. I'm like, man, we don't have the NFL money to, like, they have all their decals and all that. I'm like, I'm just glad to be playing.
This is FAMU. So, boom. Aside from that, my general rule of thumb is if I want to find NayRon, watch the ball. He's going to be around there somewhere. He either pushed him out of bounds or tackled him. He a couple yards behind. Yeah, so that was a general rule of thumb, right? And like you said, that was always your style of play. You was always going, you a fly around guy. Who did you study growing up, learning how to play the game that you wanted to emulate your game like?
I think, growing up, I watched a lot of different players. Ray Lewis, of course.
Obviously.
Was everybody's hero back in the day. He played football. You watch some Ray Lewis highlights for the Pop Warner game.
Yeah, sir. Watch it on the bus. Yeah.
But I think, I'm a Panthers fan. Mm-hmm. And Luke Kuechly is definitely, is definitely my guy.
Yeah.
When it comes to linebackers. Because, I'm undersized. And I knew that. So I knew that if I watched the same amount of film as the opposing team, I would be outnumbered because size outweighs that. But what I watched from Luke Kuechly is like from his teammates talking about him, it was like he would tell the play before it even started. And so me, I'm like, I can do that. Yeah. And so that's what I did. And so like all my teammates, like they'll tell you, like, I'll watch film and I replay it. And they be like, we just watched this play. I'm like, no, I'm watching the guard. They be like, why are you watching the guard? I'm like, he's leaning. I'm like, so I can tell he's about to pull.
He's pull, yeah.
Or, like I be like, oh, he got a lot of weight on his front foot. He's finna kick step. He's finna kick step. Like, stuff like that. And so, I prided myself on that.
Mm-hmm.
I prided myself in knowing, all right, the yo is off the ball and he's wide. So either they're going to get a jet sweep or they're going to pass the ball. Or it's going to be same side, either a power or inside zone. All right, he's a little more tucked in. Alert split zone or alert insert. And so I prided myself on watching way more film than anybody. Like, I wake up in the middle of the night watching film. Honestly, I'm ashamed to say this in front of the camera, but I used to be watching film in some classes. Like.
Now, GPA wouldn't need. The GPA wouldn't need.
Oh yeah. I may say I handle my business. But,
yeah.
That's like I love watching film because I knew that if I knew what you could do, what you were going to do before you did it, I could beat you there. I can make the plays. And so I think that the success that I want to tell a lot of young players is that the success comes before Saturday. If you can call out the plays, if you can watch the film and call out their plays consistently while watching their film, you can win the game because they're gonna run the same exact thing when they see you on Saturday.
Yeah, it doesn't change just because
right. And you also, what I also learned is like to pick out the fish. So what we call it fish is the worst player on their offense, the person that can help you. And
he with us.
Oh yeah. And like I used to sit there and watch like the fish, and I would watch him every play because I knew that he's the person that's most likely going to tell you run or pass. He always is. Like the old lineman that's sitting there and standing up high and look real goofy. I'm like, well, I know it's a pass play. Yeah. I'm like, thanks for letting me know.
He's not even trying to get low, make it look like, he's trying to get back.
And so that's what I kind of credit my success to, is definitely, the amount of film that I was able to watch. And to be able to help my teammates, to be able, we can call out stuff, in practice. I call it out. And in the game, we like, hey, like, boy, how you knew that was coming? I was like, dog. I was like, you didn't see him standing straight up? It's like, nah. And so, like, you'll see me on film sometimes doing like this. I'm like, fly. And let them know, hey, it's past. Like, go ahead and get in your drops and let's do this thing.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what I enjoy watching film. And so, that's also why I kind of wanted to go into coaching. Because I love watching film. Like, I can break down some film and we can talk about what we see, things like that.
I hear the passion in your voice right now.
Yeah.
Man, look like, hey, bro, might need to go into that room. We got a new AD coming. You gonna be looking for people, man. You looking for folks.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Hey, if you seeing this, man, hey, I love to come and coach back.
Yeah, man, I know we got to get you to class, man. Just one more question. I saw you brought up the Luke Kuechly, and we can't forget Thomas Davis either.
Yeah.
Right. So Luke Kuechly was a little undersized, so that's why he had to spend that extra time in the room. And we know Thomas Davis is on the older side, so he had to know where it was going because he might not have been able to catch you, but he was going to beat you there. If
Right.
He knew.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the best defenses of all time, in my opinion. But what do you think is the best defense of all time? Now, if you want to, you can go NFL and college, NFL or college. But just what defense stood out to you the most?
I'm from the Gainesville area, so B Spikes and Mod Black and Major Wright. Them boys
want the ball. I want him.
That was saying them boys was serious. Like them boys put fear in offenses.
Yeah.
And so that's my college my college defense, because like those guys they were like no other. Like like those guys. I actually know Ahmad Black. He coaches in Lakeland now, but he used to be a substitute teacher in Gainesville.
That's crazy.
And so then he started teaching with my mom at Lake Forest for a little while. But yeah, so I definitely know about those guys, and those guys were serious. Like a lot of NFL players were on that team, and like that Major Wright hit. I'm sure that guy still has nightmares about that to this day.
Back pain, headaches.
I'm sure he's tired of seeing that, because they sure do play once a year. That same hit.
And don't let the two teams be playing each other.
Oh yeah, it's over with. Over with. But and then NFL wise, I think I gotta go Legion of Boom.
A modern one, a relatively modern one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I gotta go Legion of Boom, simply off the fact of, again, they were, I think y'all see what kind of defense I like.
Yeah, they're hard. Back when football was football.
Yeah.
Back when football was football, we was allowed to hit people.
I'm talking about those guys were serious. Like, one of the players that I love to watch to this day, highlights of, is Cam Chancellor. Like that boy. Like, I'm talking about, it's like, he'd be a freight train and then, pah, he just stopped.
And what's funny with him, and really, it was a characteristic of that entire defense. Like, even Richard Sherman, not the biggest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But if he could come downhill, he was going to crack.
Yeah.
And at all three levels, because people forget, that defensive line wasn't bad either. The Michael Bennett's, and they had a squad on defense. But they were, I don't want to say robots, but like, they was going to make sure they checked off all their boxes.
Because Bobby Wagner was on that team too, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Bobby Wagner, they was going to make sure they checked off all their boxes. And then right before it came time to hit you, there's nowhere else for you to go. And it's time. Close your eyes, hold the ball.
Yeah. And I think, also, obviously like the Ray Lewis defenses at the Ravens, with him and Ed Reed, those were also good defenses. But I think definitely the Legion of Boom is, like, at least in my opinion, one of the greatest defense, especially defensive backfields that you ever will see.
Because those Seahawks teams, those Seahawks offenses, they had superstars, but I wouldn't say that they were super special.
Yeah.
In terms of the offenses that you see with the many dynasties that they had, it was that defense year in, year out. People were afraid.
People were afraid to throw or run a route at Cam Chancellor, because it was a possibility that you would be out 2 to 3 weeks for a concussion.
And it was all clean.
Yeah.
It was all clean. He wasn't dirty. He was just trying to hit you.
And like all that dark visor, like you see all the players try to wear dark visors now. That came from Cam Chancellor.
Yes,
like,
sir.
Like blacked out visor. I can't even see my eyes. I'm just going out here and smacking something. And so, I think that was definitely, my two favorite. College for sure, because I grew up around those guys. Grew up around that defense. But then also Seattle. Like I said, the Legion of Boom. Like you said, they had a pretty good offense, with those guys on offense like Marshawn Lynch.
Obviously, Marshawn, Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, like there's respect to them, but their defense, I'm a firm believer in defense win championships, offense sell tickets.
Yes, sir.
And so, of course, everybody will see, offense. Like, they scored 4 touchdowns.
With some moon ball and all that.
But then, at the end of the day, if the other team don't score, and we score at least 1 touchdown, we're going to win the game.
We got it.
Or kick a field goal. And so I think that's why I love defense so much. It's like, it's very, very important.
Yeah.
Like, if they don't score at all, and we don't score at all, it's still 0-0.
Yeah.
So
You do your
we
job.
still don't lose.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the important thing. Like as a player too, like I didn't care what our offense was doing. Like and we had some really good offenses, but I was like, hey, it don't matter. Like they get a 3 and out, some of my teammates be like, oh man, come on. I'm like,
Just
hey.
sat down.
I'm like, hey, it don't matter because we still can win the game if they don't score.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, they threw a pick on the 40. All right, bet, make a kick field goal. But bend, don't break.
Yes, sir.
And so like that, I feel like that's what made that defense so great.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I don't want to hold up too much more of your time, man. I know student athlete. This guy carved out some time for me, man. He got class in 9 minutes, so we're gonna get him up out of here. But just real quick, do you have a party message for the audience?
No, I just appreciate you for having me on here, man. Hey, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my dog podcast. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for having me. And yeah, I love, man. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. God bless. And y'all make sure y'all stay tuned in to 90.5. Thank you for letting us use this wonderful equipment. Mr. Terrence trying to duck up under the It's smooth, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for staying locked in with us. And until next time, this has been NayRon Jenkins, man. Thank you so much, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.